Yo guys, Shadow King here, and today we're bringing you part 2 of the Heroic Avenger. Um, uh, the Altered Spirit, the Heroic Avenger Deku. Alter, I think that's what it was called. I'm gonna have to relook at that later. But in any case, where I last left off is that Deku brutally annihilated the Yakuza. Well, not really annihilated, more like hurt them very, very badly. Um, and before I forget, Midoriya's quirk, or in this case, One for All, is now considered a noble phantasm instead of a quirk now, due to him being a part of Alia's Throne of Heroes collection. Well, not really Alia, since he didn't really become a counter guardian. Basically, the Throne of Heroes like took One for All and changed it as a noble phantasm due to his legend. You can say, well, not really legend, more like what people speculate what his quirk can be, pretty much. So, so basically, his noble phantasm has become even well, one for all has become even more. How do I say this? It's a little bit more destructive and more potent because, thanks to the rumors and speculations that have been done about Midoriya's quirk, because nobody knows about One for All except for future Class 1A, is that like some people who have seen him like shoot out on Black Whip speculate instead of thinking it's Black Whip, they just think oh it's like oh he has like a dark matter or like a dark matter type quirk or something. And some who have seen him float think that he's flying because he doesn't just like float. It looks like he's flying because he's using Air Force in the combination with float. And like for danger sense, they just think it's like Spidey sense or something, or like he can just see the future, or he has like an 360 observation quirk, which has also changed it. So, like in this case, thanks to those speculations, Midoriya's noble phantasm is going to be a lot more interesting. So, thanks to that, Midoriya's noble phantasm has changed a lot, meaning that the quirks of One for All have changed and have become even more powerful thanks to Deku being an alter. So Deku's like Black Whip is now like um, the darkness type quirk or darkness manipulation quirk thanks to like think of it as like Meliodas' ability to like use the darkness to use it as an assault mode or something. It's pretty much kind of like that now. And his danger sense is more like Spidey sense or observation hockey kind of, since he can now perceive everything around him. Um, and thanks to some other things, and thanks to like thanks to the Grail Mud, I guess. I mean, is that really the only way to like corrupt the heroic spirit? Um, I still don't know. But thanks to the Grail Mud, kind of like Joan of Arc, Alter, Midori can now like shoot fire out of his mouth and from his hands. So he finally got his fire breath. um, so pretty much Midoriya has a new arsenal of abilities, including shooting out Dark Lightning just like MHX Alter does. If you guys have ever played the game, or well, blackish reddish lightning. It's pretty much kind of like Alter Saber in a way, where she can use like the corrupted energy blast from Excalibur. So Deku Deku Alter at this point is like super OP. So in any case, enough with me rambling on. Um, Deku at this point um, would be kind of like sitting in a chair or just kind of like sleeping beside Eri, so like she doesn't have like a nightmare or like stay by her side because as we all know, if you're summoned as apparently like being drowned in the grail mud gives you like a physical body, is what I heard or I seen. Because like how we saw with Gilgamesh, kind of powering through it, um, or being so, being having the biggest ego ever, was pretty much able to like resist it, but he still got the whole physical body. Midoriya also has a physical body, so he's kind of sleeping there. As when it's morning, Eri kind of wakes up expecting to be back in her room, but she's surprised when she's like in a in an unknown room that she doesn't recognize. So Eri looks around and just sees Midoriya sleeping in the chair. As Eri just kind of tries to wake him up, or just kind of like stays there staring at him, saying, what happened? All right, I summoned him, and then I fell asleep. As then like a few, as like Eri would just continue to stare at Deku until like Deku wakes up. When Deku wakes up, he kind of looks around, saying, "Oh, hi." As Eri's all like, "Hi, Mister." As Deku would say, "My name is Deku, or you can call me Avenger." As Eri would say, "Mister Deku, where am I?" As Deku would then say, "Away from the bad man." As Eri is all like, "You're not joking, right? Am I finally free from him?" As Deku is all like, "Don't cry, Eri. Everything's fine because I am here." As Eri would then just kind of cry into Midoriya's arms, saying like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." So Deku would then get up, saying, "Well then, change into these." As he would just kind of hand Eri these types of clothing. As Eri would then just kind of grab the clothing and go into the bathroom, or Midoriya would just kind of turn around. As Eri would change, and she kind of as she walks out, looking like this now. As Deku's all like, "Okay then. First, I already know what day it is." As he says, "Today is the day of the USJ attack," meaning that the Nomu is going to be there, and Ome would exhaust his majority of his time, meaning that his time limit will be shorter. I need to help him with that. So we can at least team up, or I'll take down All for One myself. As Deku would then just like look at Eri saying, "Hey, we're gonna go someplace." As Eri's are like, um, "Sure, okay." As Deku would then just kind of like grab like pick Eri up, and they would just kind of go down into and get out of the hotel or motel where they were staying at. As they kind of like walk to a diner first, with Midoriya being kind of not being recognized. Like if he passes by class 1A or his classmates. Because Midoriya has like a darker shade of hair. Or I kind of want to say he has white hair actually. Nah. Actually, he has white hair. That actually makes a lot more sense because Joan of Arc and Atoria Altar both had like lost their original hair color pigmentation, meaning that signifying that they're altered. So Midoriya would have white hair, or like at least a pale green hair, or whatever. As they first kind of go into a diner or a breakfast diner, as Midoriya would order breakfast for the both of them, as he kind of orders like pancakes with apple slices, and he orders whatever he eats for breakfast. As Eri would just kind of look down on her plate, saying, "Whoa!" And she kind of like sticks her fork into an apple. As she eats it, and she like her eyes begin to sparkle, saying, "So sweet." As Deku just kind of crack a smile. As he's like, "Yes, too pure. Good thing I." As he kind of like thinks back, saying, "It's a good thing that I saved her a lot earlier than I did." It took a while. It took us a lot of time for her to like finally get used to being around people and not being afraid of them. So now, another thing is mission to destroy overhaul, not overhaul. He's already destroyed. Oh, for one, is Deku would then say, should I hunt him down now? No, I can't. I can't leave Eri alone. Well, at least not by herself. Not to mention, need to help All Might today. But how to accomplish that? Hmm. This is gonna be stupid. As he's all like, okay, Eri, we're going someplace. As Eri's all like, whoa, where are we going? As Deku says, you'll see. So, Deku and Eri finish up their breakfast, as Deku just kind of carry Eri on her shoulders until like the same like I want to say um, the same pink guy that was holding like two kids hostage. Um, yeah, that guy like was still doing that as he kind of walked past it. As Midoriya were just kind of like swiftly using like Black Whip or like yeah, swiftly using like Black Whip or Dark Matter manipulation, just kind of like creates a tendril, shoots it underground, and then kind of like grabs the villain by the ankle and just makes him trip backwards as the villain just falls as it could as the hostages are free as they run away until like the heroes defeat the villain. As they kind of question what happened. As Zeko would just kind of continue walking as like All Might just kind of like pass the villain because they other heroes have it under control now. So Deku will make his way to the UA gates as he's all like, As he would then spot, I want to, okay, Midoriya would then spot Yamada, or as you might know him, President Mike. As Midoriya's all like, oh, hey, President Mike. As President Mike is all like, yes, young listener. As he kind of like, um, walks up to him, as he's all like, why do you look so familiar, young listener? Or Yamada just thinks to himself for that. As Midoriya's all like, um, can I talk with Principal Nezu? This is something urgent. As President Mike says, oh really? What is this about? As Midoriya's all like, I just need to talk to with Principal Nezu. It's related with All Might. As President Mike would then just kind of like take a step back, say like, does he know about All Might's time limit? Because I'm pretty sure all the teachers know that. So Deku would then just say, if you're wondering about All Might's time limit, I do know about that. This is related to All Might's time limit. As Prince Mike is all like takes a step back, saying, and then gets a serious look, saying, "Follow me." So Prince Mike would then just kind of go lead Midoriya to Principal Nezu's office, as President Mike would then just knock on the door, as Principal Nezu would just kind of say, who is it? As President Mike is all like, it's me, President Mike. As Nezu is all like, come on in. As President Mike would just walk in along with Midoriya, as he's all like, President Mike is all like, well, I'm done here. It's just that this kid wants to talk with you. Oh. As President Waneza would then just say, oh really? What is this about? As as Midoriya's all like, first we have to wait for All Might because this involves him as well. President Mike, no offense, but this doesn't involve you. I mean, it technically does, but it doesn't involve you directly. As President Mike says, well, okay. As he would just proceed to leave. As President Mike is all like, so what do you want to talk with me, Izuku Midoriya? As Midoriya is all like, how did you... Clever bastard. As he's all like, well, considering you're like the smartest being alive, it wouldn't. I guess um, I couldn't escape your eyes, Principal Nezu. It's always good to see you again. And Principal Nezu is all like, quite. Although, why do you look so different, Midoriya? Is it because this role revolves around Almightiness quirk? Because I'm pretty sure Principal Nezu knows about it being passed down. And Deku's all like, well, kind of. As then then Midoriya just kind of begins explaining to Principal Nezu about what happened with him in the future, leaving out like major details because he doesn't want to screw too much with the past. So he just kind of explains how he comes from 50 years in the future. Well, not 50. Wait, no, around 70 years, I think I said, into the future, as how he died, how he kind of became a heroic spirit, and how Ares summoned him as an altar, meaning that they're usually heroic spirits that have like lost all sense of sanity or had their ideals flipped around. But in Midoriya's case, it's special because his ideals aren't flipped around. Or they're not completely flipped around since he is more likely to kill now, unlike this Midoriya. So Principal Nose is all like, I see. That is quite the predicament. Zek would say, yeah. As then Omen busts through the room saying, I am here. Coming through the door like a hero. As Midoriya's all like, oh hey Toshi. As Omen says, hello. As he's like, wait, I mean, who is this Toshi you're talking about? As Principal Nose is all like, All Might, he knows. As All Might just kind of powers down, kind of coughing a little bit of blood, as Eri kind of freaks out, saying, hi, he's bleeding. As Midoriya's all like, don't worry, that just happens. As All Might would just kind of look at Midoriya saying, who are you? As Midoriya just kind of says, really, All Might? You don't recognize the ninth user of One For All? As All Might's so like, wait a minute, young Midoriya? As Midoriya's like, yes, well, technically I'm older than you, age-wise in this timeline, but let's not get into that. As All Might's like, yeah. So, how are you here if Class 1A just went on the field trip? As Midoriya's like, oh, crap, it's starting. As Principal Naz and All Might is like, what? What is starting? As Midoriya's like, okay, long story short, USJ gets attacked, and you lose a lot of time fighting that normal thing that is literally meant to fight you, but since it's not made to fight me, I can win against it easily. As All Might's like, really? You can win against it easily? Young Midoriya, you're so full of jokes. As Midoriya's like, I can use 100% and more without any limitation, and without breaking my bones. As Midoriya just kind of gives him a smug look. As Toshi's like, well then. So, are you gonna go now, or as... Like, he's all like, oh yeah, of course now. Speaking of which, Eri, can you stay here with Principal Nazumi and oh might need to take care of something? As Eri's all like, okay. As Midoriya would just kind of like begins to saying, oh, before I forget, he kind of concentrates a little bit of power, and then just sort of transfers it to All Might, giving him like a little bit of boost in power, but without regenerating him. And All Might's like, what did he just do? I just feel so energized. And Midoriya's all like, well, thanks to One for All sort of being corrupted. As All Might's all like, corrupted? Kind of shaking Midoriya a bit, saying, calm down, All Might. And All Might's all like, yeah, sorry. And it's all like, not my fault. It's just the way I was summoned. But what I essentially did was using the transfer ability of giving a quirk to someone else. I no longer have that, so it is now considered a noble phantasm. But using the transferring quirk, combining it with the energy manipulation ability quirk, as All Might says, wait, you have energy manipulation? And Smithers are like, the quirk's mutated. Quirks? I'll explain later. And Zeku's all like, I was able to transfer some of my power to you, giving you your time limit back, or pretty much resetting your time limit. As All Might's like, well then, let's go. As Zeku's all like, right. As All Might and him kind of power up, as like black and red electricity starts shining out of Midoriya, is All Might's all like, electricity? I'll explain later. Let's go. Last one there is a run and all for one. Or last one there is a potato all for one. As they both like rush off. As Nez is like, well then, Eri. Guess it's just you and me now. Also, we might need to call in the teachers. As in, Nez would just kind of proceed to call in the teachers to like give themselves backup. As Ome and Deku are just kind of running, and then they just kind of pass by Ida. Also, Midoriya is in his Karate Hero costume, but without the damaged look, like as I said before in the last part. As Ome stops, Ida just kind of tells him what's going on. As Ome says, don't worry about it. We'll handle it. And as Ida just kind of looks, seeing Midoriya, but he doesn't recognize Midoriya's hero costume because, how do I say this? It's more of a dark, reddish, blackish version. Instead of being his usual light green with white and red. As Ida's are like, alrighty then. I'll go warn Principal Nez and the others. As they're like, right. Keep going, young Ida. As Ida's are like, right. Somebody and Ome just kind of like rush off again. As when they get to the door, they bust it down with like a double Detroit smash. As Class 1A, the villains just kind of look back, seeing All Might and another person that they don't recognize. As All Might says, don't fear everyone, for we are here. As the students are happy and cheering, while the villains, along with Shigaraki, are kind of confused because he's all like, we. Like, who's the other person? As Deku would just kind of walk out, saying, All Might, we might need to take care of the villains first before we go and talk. As always like, oh, right. As Deku's all like, there's on the Black Noma thing, or Black Brain thing. As almost all like, wait, what? As Deku just kind of rushes off. As he blitzes past all the villains. As Shigaraki reacting quickly, saying, Noma, kill him. As Noma charges in for a punch, letting down Mr. Aizawa. As Midoriya uses the darkness to cover his arm, making it like a dark claw, as he kind of punches along with the Nomu, completely destroying his left arm off. As using his other hand, he uppercuts the Nomu, sending him flying into the air. As he kind of falls back, as the Nomu would fall down, and Shigaraki's all like, "What? Impossible! Who are you? How can you beat the Nomu so easy? How can you damage the Nomu so easily? That thing was made to destroy All Might." And Zeke's all like, "Yes. Let me guess. That was made to destroy. That thing was created to destroy All Might while in his weakened state. But what will happen if someone else fought the Nomu, when I surpassed All Might in his prime?" As Shigaraki would step back, saying, "No, you can't be stronger than All Might. All Might's the strongest hero around." As Deku would just kind of look at Shigaraki in the face, using his Prana Burst, as he gets close, looking at Shigaraki dead in the eye, saying, "Well, yes, but I'm not a hero, am I?" As he then, sucker punches Shigaraki in the stomach, as Kurugi, reacting quickly, teleports Shigaraki back down, saying, "I didn't even see him move." And Shigaraki would just cough up blood, saying, "Bastard! No one will kill him." As the no one would just kind of proceed to punch, proceed to try to punch Midoriya. As Midoriya is letting all the attacks he's letting the Nomu attack him while he's simultaneously blocking the Nomu's punches with one hand. As Oma is just focusing on rescuing the other students, as Bakugo, Todoroki, and Kirishima will just kind of finally come down as they see someone fighting the Nomu, but it isn't All Might. As they say, "Who is that guy? How's he fighting him so easily? The black thing so easily?" As Bakugo's all "This guy, why does he just severely piss me off?" As Deku would then just kind of uppercut the Nomu in the face, and then using an overhead punch, smashes him back into the ground. As then Deku would then just use his energy manipulation, his flame ability, and his dark lightning into one ball, condensing into one ball, and he kind of does a thing that Saber Alter did against Berserker in the Heaven's Feel movie 2 actually. As he's all "This is your end, Nomu. Take this, Annihilation Blaster!" As he completely eviscerates the Nomu, sending him flying back into the whole back of the USJ. As when he hits the wall, a huge explosion in a pillar of black, purple, and red is shining through the dome. As then Deku's all "So, wanna be next?" As he uses darkness manipulation to just kind of create blades out of his hands. As Kurogiri, being the smart one, just kind of is "Oh, you," and he kind of just teleports out of there. And Shigaraki's all "You bastard!" So Deku would then just kind of power down his darkness, as he's all "Well, that was easy," until he hears someone just kind of saying, "Wait!" Is Deku Alter is all like, huh? And then he sees himself, well, his younger version of himself, saying like, "What's your quirk? That was so amazing. That was so cool. How do you do that whole dark thing? That was so awesome. Do you mind if I analyze your quirk even more? Can you show it off more?" As he kind of like begins fanboying out a bit, as Bakugo just kind of sighs and is beginning to be annoyed, as Todoroki is all like, "Someone else I had to surpass." Kirishima was all like, "That was so scary, but also very manly." as as Midoriya is all like, or Deku Alter is all like, looks at the younger version of himself, saying, um, well, young one, I would love to say in chat, but I have somewhere else to be. Um, you can talk with All Might. He will tell you the rest of how we met. Kind of like, kind of saying it, as Midoriya's all like, "Can I at least get your autograph?" As Midoriya's all like, yeah, sure." As he looks back, saying, he kind of like writes. How do I say this? He writes in. Hmm. I don't really know what he would write. Actually, he would write in Katsudon because I believe that was Midoriya's favorite food. As Midoriya just looks at it, saying Katsudon. Um, why is that your hero name? As Deku's all like, Deku also is all like, "No, that's just my favorite food." As as younger Midoriya is all like confused. As Bakugo is still kind of far enough away, um, as he doesn't hear this, so he says, "Kachan." As Midoriya is like surprised, saying, "Wait," he's kind of looking at her, saying, "Wait, how do you?" As Midoriya would then just kind of realize it, seeing someone who has a similar hero costume to him, except that he has like a cape, iron soles, and reinforce, and the gauntlets from the, what was it? Was it the Heroes Rising movie? I believe. No, Two Heroes. But he doesn't know that. As Deku would say, similar hero costume. He's me. But how is he me? I thought I was me. As Deku also would then just kind of say, "Well then, see ya." As he kind of jumps away, crashing through the ceiling. As he just kind of makes it back to where Nezu is. As the other teachers arrive, except for Principal Nezu because Nezu is still taking care of Eri. As he will arrive back in the office, as as he kind of makes it to the office, as he just kind of sees Nezu and Eri just kind of, well, Nezu just kind of discussing like how to take over the world with Eri, as Eri just kind of like listens intensely, as Deku's all like, "Okay, I completely forgot that leaving her with Principal Nezu is not a good idea." Well then, so that is it for that is all for right now, guys. Shadow King out. See you guys in the next part.